in the van. That was, if you watch that panorama, the Olivia Corbell one, you'll see me in a van and I start crying. That's PTSD. And I didn't realise how bad I'd had it. Still didn't understand I had it until, what, 3 months ago when I got diagnosed with it. So when I went back to this spot with the panorama documentary, it just ripped me open again and sent me scatty again. Do you understand what I mean? So, there you go. But it's all experience, people. It's all about taking that on the chin and getting through it. And everyone's experience in life is different. You know, we all get different tests, we all get different adversities, we all get different walls to smash through in our paths of life. But the inner feelings are all the same. Do you understand? The effect on the inside is exactly the same as the effects on you. If you witnessed a kid get hit by a car, do you understand? The same inner feelings is exactly the same as my inner feelings. A lot of yous laugh at me. A lot of yous have tired me over it. Because you've never felt like this. Because when you felt like this, you don't want other people to feel like that. So a lot of yous little rats that are coming in chatting, you've got a lot of experiences coming your way, because we all go through them experiences. Every single one of us go through the inner experience exactly the same, doesn't matter who you are. And when you're laughing at people that are going through their process, and when you're laughing at people that's going through their bad experiences, you're going to get there eventually. And the fact that you're laughing at them going through theirs means yours is coming faster than later. Just bear that in mind when you're buzzing off people. Do you understand what I'm saying? With me, it's not personal, lad. You know, I'm here. This is my platform. This is my stage. And when I'm speaking about drug dealers, I'm speaking about all drug dealers. I'm not naming you. I'm not coming into your life on a personal agenda to attack you. Yous are coming into my life on a personal agenda to attack me. It's different, completely different what yous are doing to what I do. I'm speaking to an audience. You're speaking directly to me. Do you understand? Are you good, bruv? MC Dirty Money, sound la. Rita, Faxy's talking. Kieran Reid, respect. Ads, facts. Even yous dropping comments saying you're speaking facts is annoying. Them little helmets that are there hating. They sit there hating, they don't even know why they hate me. I've said something about the mate. And that's that gang mentality. You know, you could say something about this knobhead and these and these 10 knobheads will get deeply offended that you've said it about him. Does that make sense? And then these 10 knobheads automatically think they've got the authority to give. What was that? Do you understand what I mean? So you put this knobhead straight, then his group of mates think they've got the authority to put you straight. So they start raising their mouths. So you being you stand there, okay, then you stand next to him, bam, 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 start screaming, bam, 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 start screaming about him, and then his family get upset. So now you've just got pure enemies. And what you need to realise, people, when it comes to self-care, self-awareness, self-elevation, self-reformation. What's going on? Who's this interfering? I'm not even admitting anyone into the live, just people coming in. Tribalism, that's what it's like, lad. But for self-care and all this, one of the first things you can do, which has eventually got to me, and I'm practicing it eventually, is not argue with people that can't understand you. That's the first bit of self-care, is not getting involved with people that cannot understand you. You're arguing with them for the rest of your life, mates. Just get rid, don't engage with them, don't argue with them. If they can't understand the consciousness or the angle you're coming from, just leave them to be annoyed. Don't get involved with it. If you're looking on protecting yourself, if you're looking on loving yourself again, if you're looking on re-identifying yourself, one of the first things you want to do is not engage with sheds that don't want you to move on. Yes, Lara Croft. Get shot of negative people. Well, no, not really, Leslie, because there's a lot of negative people that have ended up in a deep hole of depression, and if you stay with them and get them out of that hole of negativity, trust me, you're dealing with some of the most positive people out there. They've just gone through a situation, they haven't known how to handle it, they've gone into this negative space where they're just all depressed and anti everyone and anti this. It's like anyone, you've got to give it a little go. Don't just sacrifice them instantly. Put up with. I've been there. So when someone's just a horrible. Listen. If you've been in a mess, if you've been through this type of experience, this type of situation I'm referring to now, you know when someone's just hurting. You can tell, and give the one that's hurting all the time in the world. If you've been in a situation, you can identify it. If you haven't, you probably couldn't. Oh, you're back in, lad, on another fake account, chatting the same nonsense. Get out of here, lad. You're like a little nit in the hair of me dog, scratching you all day. I've been there, to be honest, says Leslie. Loads of us have. Can you still hear me? Loads of us have been there, mate. Loads of us don't like to admit it because, you've got this ego, you've got this personality to carry off, this identity that you're living up to. And it's the identity you're living up to that's making you low. You're trying to be someone you're not. You're trying to be something you aren't. So why can't you just, instead of trying to change yourself to be something you're not, why don't you remove the people out of your life that you're trying to impress? It's not happening for you, is it? This is what I keep on saying. You've got to re-identify yourself. You've got to come back to who you really are. You're not this big, hard and tough criminal. Go back to when you were a kid. I've done it. It's hard work. Takes years. Still not recovered from it. I'm coming to the end of it now. I'm at what? I'm in about 2.9. I'm catching up to where I am now. And that's what it's like. It's like you get put on pause here. When you go through this process, it's like everything pauses here. And you're reliving all this again. Dead fast. You're going through all your mistakes dead fast. The things that you never learn from, you go through something similar to the situation and you learn off it dead fast. And eventually you'll get to where you are now, back in the presence. Without any of them mistakes. Without any of that trauma, because you've addressed it all. You're fully in control of all your emotions because you've been through this process which has had you angry, had you upset, had you frightened, Had your thanks, all of it while you're going through. You go through it all again. That's why it's a tough thing to go through. What do I mean? If you've had a very, very traumatic childhood and upbringing as a child, it mightn't have been SA'd and all this, but you might have been, you know, in a mad childhood again. You develop loads of trauma. You develop these things that you don't understand you're developing. They're having an impact on your mindset. They're having an impact in your security. You know, you start getting insecure. You start getting frightened about people. This is the way I was. I was a proper target for people when I was a kid. I'm still a target now. But I was a proper target when I was that kid that didn't fight until he was pushed to the last minute and then fought every day afterwards. Does that make sense? I used to get bullied by my older brother and his mates. Mad. Forced to wear girls' clothes. Mad that, innit? I forgot all about that till I got my social workers reports. And in them social workers reports I had the document saying on the last day of school, or there was a day in school in this Breckfield school, and everyone had to go in dressed up, and there was a letter on the side on the fridge about me having to be fancy dressed for school on this day, and everyone's gone in like monsters and all this, and I didn't have a clue about it, but our Billy's in control here, and they waved me in, mate. Made me dress up as a woman, sent me into school dressed as a woman. I'm fuming. You know, basically, they frog marched me with Billy and his mates, Steve and Armin and that. Frog marched me from my Mars and watched me go into the school. So I'm in the school angry. I'm about 12, 13. I'm in the school angry. You know, a face on me. And then I've got all helmets standing next to me, looking at me thing, so I've just snapped, just turned around, like, ooh, bailed someone, got kicked out of school. But there was a report, Darren's, you could tell the way on this day I'm stood there getting laughed at. I'm dressed as a woman, everyone's dressed as Superman and Batman, and I'm there like some woman. I think that's why I hate that lot so much. Yes, Leah. How are you, Steve? JW's passing through. AD2 on. Scouse Bajan. But just all things like that, you don't realise they're having a mad effect on you, on your life. So when your kid's getting bullied, you don't realise it's having a mad effect on him. And it's turning him into... What happens when you're a decent kid? When you're a good-natured kid and you start getting bullied, eventually you snap. And then you'll start acting like a bully. And this is what you need to... It's a true case of the victim becoming the victimizer. And that's what it's like for most bullies. Most bullies are kids that's being bullied. And as you're growing up, you're going through the cycle. And when you've been in both situations, eventually you come out the cycle at the other end. Do you understand? And you won't tolerate the bullying, and you won't accept any sort of bullshit where people are getting picked on. It's a process again. But the point I'm making is, before you switched, you can get back to that. Because the minute you switch into that bully, your life just gets full of trauma. Because you don't realise it. Now you're a bully, you're aggressive. Now you're aggressive, you're inviting trouble. Now you're inviting trouble, you're getting into some violent situations that you don't realise are impacting on your mental health right now because you're young. You might have a scar down your face. You might be able to ignore it now, give it another 10 years, every time you look in the mirror, it'll be damaging your mind. Trust me on that. And this is what happens, you know. So what you can do as this big, violent, aggressive, natured kid that grew up on a council estate, like me, you're able to peel back all them layers right back to the point before you became the bully, when you was this nice, kind, nurturing kid. who'd run the shop for your ma, always had a smile on your face, always running round. You can get yourself right back there and start again. Trust me, lad, I've done it. People call me a bully because the way I react to people. No, I react to people who I know are trying to pick on me. It's different. As I say though, a lot of people pick on you because they can't understand you. And the minute you engage with them people trying to make them understand you more, it just antagonises the whole situation. You need to know yourself so no one else can tell you how you are. And that's the bottom line. And that's what loads of people are doing right now. They're letting people tell them what they like. They're letting people tell them where they should be going. They're letting people tell them to watch this, or they should be watching that, or they should be thinking this way. And that's the only reason they're able to do that with you, is because you've lost yourself. You don't know yourself. You're not in touch with yourself no more. You give your identity up to anyone that wants to use it. And when you go through that process, you'll isolate yourself. You'll start looking deep into everything and everyone. And you'll start being very sacrificial in your life. You'll have mates that have been around you all your life. They'll just get jogged on. You'll understand what's the dead weight and what's the good weight. What weight needs dropping and what weight needs keeping. Because everything you go through from your childhood to now is in that backpack that you're carrying. And you can either make it lighter, or you can make it get heavier and heavier and heavier as you're going through your life. And if you let it get heavier and heavier and heavier as you're going through your life, when you reach your 40s, 50s, you'll be doing what most men are doing now. Jumping off a bridge or jumping in front of a train. And this is facts. This is how it is. I'm gearing you up for what's coming when you get to my age. And I'm telling you true facts about it. I'm not sugarcoating no to you. And I'm telling you it all through experience. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not listening to a gang of knobheads then getting on my platform chatting shit what knobheads have chatted. Everything you're listening to out of here is authenticity. It's all me. It's no one else's narrative. It's no one else's wisdom. It's no one else's experience. This is all me. I don't need a medal for it. I'm just passing on the wisdom that I've gained through it. And everything I'm telling yous, young lads, whether you're off school or what, I'm telling yous for a reason. It's not to be popular. I'm not popular. I'm popular with the gangsters that want to shoot me dead. This doesn't bring you fame, what I'm preaching. This doesn't bring you wealth. It doesn't bring you friends. It doesn't bring you associates, sponsors. It brings you none of that. It turns all that right away from you. I'm screaming all sorts of mad shit, harming myself, putting my own life at risk so I can encourage yous to knock up the way I did. The drug dealers, he's a gross, he's a gross, he's a gross. Yous call me what the f*** you like. In my eyes, I'm preventing these kids from being snitched on. I'm preventing these kids from going to prison. I'm preventing these kids from getting scars or breaking the hearts of the mothers in the process. Developing addictions in the process. Being used and abused and having the freedom taken off them. Like that by dickheads that know exactly what they're doing. If you want to hate on me for that, you can. I don't give a shit. You're not going to stop me from doing what I've been doing for 8 years since my release from custody. I don't want no favouritism. I don't want nothing off no one. I'm doing my thing. If you don't like it, don't watch it, don't listen to it. Advice for this young generation: be yourself. Keep your identity intact. Don't give your identity to no one. You don't realise you're doing it, you know, but if you're with a group of people, if you start going with a group of people after school, so in school you've got your mum's identity, you've got your dad's personality, your mum's character if they're both in the house. If not, You understand what I'm saying? You've got your house as your family's identity and personality. You reach 16, 17, you start going out the house a lot more, you start mixing with these teenage groups. Kids groups are becoming more similar to teenage groups now. But back in the day, kids groups was not unlike teenage groups. The music, the drill music is making these 12, 13-year-old kids replicate exactly what the 19, 20-year-old kids are doing. But back then you couldn't tell the difference. Now your kid is going out the house, he's mixing with these teenage groups. He's going with them on a nightly basis. At first you were telling your kid to be in at 10 bells or 11 o'clock. He was sticking to it. He was only going out twice a week at first, 3 times a week, coming in bang on 11 every night, the way you told him. Still looking like yous, dressing like yous, willing to sit round the table and have a scram with yous. This is when his identity's still there. But then he starts delving deeper into this group, starts mixing with them on a nightly basis, and then he starts losing his identity to the group. You'll notice it. He'll change his dress sense. His routine will go a bit scatty. He'll start coming in later and later and later to the point where he's arguing now, and you're looking on kicking him out because you're in your routine up in your house, which is going to give him to the gang. It's going to go, right, there's your new family in a bit. Do you understand? You know, instead of preventing it. So your kid starts dressing like the gang, starts listening to music like the gang, starts banging the girls that the gang's banging, starts going to the venues that the gang's going, starts thinking like the gang, starts developing the same enemies like the gang. Before you know it, he can't think without having the input of the leader of his gang. It's just the way it is, the way it goes, psychologically processed down the lines, the way it ends up. So that's the biggest information that I'd give to any young lad. Don't lose yourself. Remain in touch with yourself. Trust me, lad. Don't give your identity up to no one. Keep that uniqueness. There's a reason why all the school system encourages group sports and team sports, because they want you thinking the same. They want you easier to control. They don't like generals. They only like soldiers, and that's what they're making you. The only difference, lads, the only difference between a leader, a general, whatever you want to call them, the only difference is the soldiers lose their identity, the leaders keep it. It's the only difference there. So if you keep your identity, you will lead your life like a leader. You will grow up strong, you know, the way you're meant to be as a man. When you're over there group thinking, you're not growing up to be a leader, you're growing up to be a soldier. Your whole approach to life is like a soldier, a follower. Do you understand? Trust me on that. Julie, nice to meet you, Darren. Well, we haven't met you, Julie, but welcome in, mate. This is another thing about this virtual world. People come in here and believe that they've met me. You've seen me on his phone. You know, this is what I'm not being aggressive towards you, not mate. I'm just saying this is what the virtual world does to you. So I can sit here and think, right, I've got 2 hours to act sensible. I've got 2 hours to not up and not say shit and not go off screen and take me drugs. I've got 2 hours to just be pure fake with you. And then I go off the screen. Now you're saying you've met me. Do you understand what I mean? It's a virtual world. Everything you see on here can be distorted, can be manipulated. You have got people that sit on this screen acting like they're not on drugs the minute they come off the screen on drugs. And these people are big creators. These people are sitting there with children. Do you understand what I'm saying? But you won't have a clue, because the image they're portraying in this virtual world of yours is completely different. Yeah, so imagine me now if I just took this off the wall, right? Took all this off the wall, put a lick of paint up and put something good on there, just one thing. Turn my camera around a bit. Went down to the shopping market down there, rigged myself out in some stalker clothes, you know, fake Gucci, fake this, and sat here. Go off me life for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then pop back up with all this fake clothes on, fake watch, fake shades, completely different background, and I can tell you I've just smashed it, got a raise of 100 grand. And you're looking at me in all this fake clobber thinking, well, hell, look at the watch, that top's worth £1,000, look at this cap, that's worth 2 ton, and you're just caught up in a mess, like that. I can portray whatever I want on here. What I do portray is pure real, pure authentic, just me. It's what you get with me. That's why you get mad shit coming out my mouth. That's why you get me chatting madness sometimes and acting a bit strange and funny sometimes, you understand? Because I'm being real as. You don't see none of them other dickheads acting like me. It doesn't mean that they don't act that way. It means because they're well controlled in what they're doing. You know, they're very deceitful. Behind the scenes, they are what they are. On here, they're something completely different. Behind the scenes, I am what you see here. I am that kid in the supported accommodation. I am that kid in that one room. I am that kid getting threats to his life every other year. Do you understand what I'm saying? I am that kid that hasn't got a job. I am that kid that's not earning pure dough. I am that kid that's got a bird and 2 kids. I'm just me. I'm not trying to be nothing other than Darren Gee. Why? Because I'm well in touch with myself. And people don't like it, especially them that are lost. If you're not in touch with yourself, you're lost. Simple as that, lad. It is, mate. If you've lost yourself, you've lost your identity. It's the same thing.